It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we are serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, X/Twitter, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Dishin Days and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. That way you'll never miss when we're going live or when we upload a video. And while you're there, go ahead and just look around because we have so many previous episodes, previous interviews from Day of Days, Daytime Emmys, and any other days related event. So take a moment, look around, have yourself a good old time. Also, make sure you check us out on your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. In case you're stuck in traffic, pumping iron in the gym, or walking children through nature, you can take a listen to us as we give you a full dish of what you might have missed on Days of Our Lives. Also, make sure you show some love to our favorite former co-host and my chocolate twin, Mr. James Big Lots Jr., who is serving up a couple of dishes of his own. He is serving up a recap of Bold and the Beautiful, General Hospital, and Young and the Restless, along with giving you some original audio dramas. So make sure you visit JLJ Media on YouTube and wherever podcasts can be found, because James Lott Jr. is the only person that I know who's old enough to have been friends with B. Arthur.
Lucky.
I know. So lucky.
Well, howdy, everyone. I feel like it's been a minute since we've all been
four
together.
of us, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've been gone for a minute, but now we're back with the jump off. How's everyone doing?
Tired.
Bless it.
Feels like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Which storm and what calm?
Everything. In real life and in real life.
Yeah, it's like busy time of year. It's like graduations and Memorial Day, and then for us it's the daytime Emmys and everything going on there.
Yes.
Father's Day, that's pretty later in the month, but yeah, this is a busy time of year.
And then show-wise, it feels like we hit the kind of like the speeding up button a little bit, and we're like that train that's going up, and then we're finally gonna get to where we need to be.
Yeah.
The pacing this week was definitely on par with what it used to be.
Can we also recognize the fact that it's about to be June?
Mm-hmm.
We're halfway through this year.
Halfway through 2024.
Like 2024 just started.
Yeah.
So wait, is it halfway at the end of June or at the beginning of June? I'm
going to take the beginning. December 31st, January 1st kind of kicks us off. So
yeah, because Christmas is like a full month.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with that. Side note, before we get into what we thought about this week's episodes of Days, if you guys haven't been following our social media, I got a chance to go to the Salem studio this week, which was very nice. What they did to like a space, like it's away from the studio in like a room, but what they've done is so good. Like it's really good in there. So hopefully, crossing fingers, we here at Dishin Days will be bringing you some content from there. Hopefully.
It's a good sign that whoever put the money behind like the 15,000th episode celebration, and whoever put the money up, I'm assuming it's Peacock, that's showing that there's a vested interest in keeping the show going. Otherwise, why would they do it? So
this is true. This
And
is very
beefing
fun.
up.
Like a
social
like a
media.
dedicated media or social media space. Like,
Yeah.
and that probably wasn't cheap either.
Mm-mm. And shout out to Andrea, the PR person over there who got that ship running, and shout out to Tom Early, who designed a lot of the stuff in the room as well. So they're
That's very
doing
nice.
they're doing some great
Nice and
stuff. And
chic.
also, if you guys are not following the show on Instagram or social media at Days Peacock Instagram, make sure you go check it out because they're keeping you in the loop on things not only Days related, but also outside of Days related. So
Mhm.
go give them a shout. They're doing great. Kudos to them.
Mhm.
Now, our favorite part of the show. Well, one of many. What did we think of this week's episodes of Days?
There was
It was-
definitely. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We got. I don't know if you want to call them shifts, but there were several things moved ahead this week,
Mhm.
and it was almost like a lot of forward motion with almost. I felt like everything going on. So it was a little more captivating of a week versus like just conversations happening. There was actually stuff going on, stuff happening.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That's a total great way of describing it. It definitely was a shift. I don't know necessarily if this was the week people came back or other writers
Mhm.
left or whatever that, however that worked out, but it definitely seemed like there was a vested like change to make some change here and to move stuff forward and to take a different direction on things.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Even a character adjustment in one case,
Yeah.
or reset that we'll talk about later.
Araceli?
I mean, I said that before that I feel like we're literally getting back on track.
Yeah. I felt like the past for a bit, we've been kind of like, but I feel like this week was a whole lot better, and there definitely is some movement. I do like how they're handling some of this movement. It's not so like abrupt, but it's just like one piece of the puzzle when we know that there's another piece of the puzzle that's coming. So it's been interesting. I will say that there's interest in things now, whereas I think for a long time we have been just like getting through.
It's been a roller coaster. There were peaks and then there were valleys, and then the valleys kind of lasted a little bit longer than I think we are used to. But yeah.
Someone was like, oh, what do you think of Days? Because they've been ugh. And I always respond with, we started this show in 2015 with a lovely storyline about blood diamonds and a white elephant. If we can get through that, we can get through anything.
Yeah, I will say I wouldn't call this like the worst
No.
story time I've seen on, or what I would consider to be, in my opinion, the worst time. Like, it was just a little slower pace than we're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, because we are all chomping at the bit to give a full dish on what happened this week, it is, oh my gosh, there sounds like there was 10 planes that just went over my head.
That Burbank Airport landing path.
Right. I mean, I wish, do they do pickups? It is now time to start
Dishin
Days.
Days.
I always laugh because whenever I'm done, there's always a trailing Days. One of us is always like, Days.
Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, yeah, all right. Well, we tried. We did.
That's what's
all right.
important.
Well, let's kick things off with Sloan's very bad day.
Last week it was EJ's very bad day. This week it was Sloan's turn. Even though EJ didn't have a great day either, but
wasn't there a song of that? Never mind.
Had a bad day. Take it one down. Sing a sad
Oh
song.
no, I was thinking of a
then
different song.
turn it around.
Hmm.
That's the
Well-
Bad Day song I know.
Mm-hmm.
What did we think?
Was it me? Okay, so
Yes.
I'm gonna go. So we got the EJ basically, put his hands figuratively, backed Sloan into a corner and said, "You got 24 hours to fix this shit, or and give the baby back to Nicole." So we kind of, yeah. So cut to Sloan breaking down and revealing everything to Eric. Was it me, or did Eric just accept this very quickly? Like, not that we needed to not that I'm not saying he needed to have like tests done or anything, but it was just like, I was like, there's no question about it. She says it and you're just immediately angry, you're immediately upset, and you immediately take the baby back, which was the right thing to do. He knew that the baby was Nicole's at that point, so he should have taken her back. There was just zero resistance, and it just was like boom, boom, boom. I just felt
Michael
like
Mattis,
sorry, what?
you have been watching Days of Our Lives for how long?
A lot. I actually figured out it's gonna be 30 years this summer.
Now listen, happy 30 years. Now you know that on Days, we all have that same question. Nobody wants to take the baby for a DNA test. Nobody wants to do a swab. No one. It's just like Michael Mattis. I can walk into your house and say, "Bimby belongs to me," and you are not to question it.
I would throw you out the window.
You are not. If this were Days of Our Lives, you are not to question it. You are to hand over Bimby.
Oh, well, it's real
That's
life,
how Days.
so
That's
I'd
how
throw you out the
Days
window.
works.
No,
Oh.
I know it's how it works. I'm just saying.
Thanks a
it's
lot,
like,
Vivian.
I wouldn't bury you alive. I would just throw your ass out. I would throw it like Uncle Phil. No. So anyway, no. I just felt like it was a little. Eric was very quick to accept what Sloan was saying, and I mean, even immediately, like he had the tear before he even knew, and I'm like, what
You
you
mean the
crying
Lisa
about?
Rinna
You don't
tear?
even know what the situation is yet.
I call that the Lisa Rinna tear because it reminded
The
me
bunny.
exactly of the moment when the bunny and she turned and she just had that one tear, and it was almost like they cut to Eric and it was like, and I was like, oh my god, it's the Lisa Rinna tear. I love it. Yeah,
That was just my opinion of how it went down.
I mean, same. I mean, I feel like the second that she said something, I was hoping that he would quickly take Jude to the hospital to do like a DNA test.
Mhm.
And then once it was like confirmed that, I don't know, I mean, but it also would have revealed that he's the father.
Yeah, which would have
Yeah.
been smart.
So, but I get it. Like the fact that he basically packed up the baby and like took him over to Nicole's, like, yeah, here's your baby. It's like, okay.
And I know Greg did a good job of like, the emotional impact and the struggle. I guess I would have appreciated just a tad more resistance on his part.
Yeah.
I guess to just
because of his attachment.
Because of his exactly to his attachment, his alleged attachment to this baby. Like he's more attached to the baby than Sloan is, and yet he's willing. I mean, he was willing to do the right thing, and that's Eric's deal. That's his MO. That's very in character for him. But just the immediate acceptance of everything. I was just okay.
Can you imagine if the twist was like Sloan like confesses everything, and then that music came in that because when they do that music, the reveal is really about to happen. Mm-hmm. But if suddenly he just like looked down at Jude and looked up at Sloan and went, "No, this is our baby," and he kept the baby.
That would have been a twist. That would have been interesting.
My gosh.
Or at least to like you said, Michael, like give a little hesitation and maybe have Sloan like plead with him. Not that he's gonna do it, but even if there was a little bit of like, like if we saw a quick second of him at least considering it, like the worst thing in the world is, oh my god, can we have the baby, it's our baby, can we keep it? And then like, of course not, snap back into reality here, but it would have been nice.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Also,
maybe
I didn't. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, finish your thought.
I was gonna say, when it came to Sloan, I think everyone's doing a great job in this storyline. For me, I'm not. The Sloan thing is a little too like abrupt. I think she very quickly gave up Eric, way too quickly. I thought I didn't understand the whole like. I understand what EJ was sort of threatening her with, but it was like she basically gave up Eric like that. It was like, okay, well, bye, Eric. Our marriage is over.
Very quickly.
Yeah, there was no like real hesitation with her either to be like,
she's pretty.
I can't leave my husband. I love Eric. I can't live without him. There was none of that. It was literally about Jude. There was nothing about our marriage, about loving him. I mean, she did all this for Eric.
Yes, but she's also a survivor. That just is not. I don't think that's in line with her character, because she is a survivor first and foremost.
Survivor of what?
She's very selfish. I should say that. She's very selfish. She's always going to put herself first. She put Eric. This was not about putting Eric's needs first. I understand what your argument is, Justin, but if it was about putting Eric's needs first, that would have been one thing. His need to be a father. But this was always about keeping Eric for herself. This was pure selfish motivation. And right now, the choice is between Eric and herself. And so she's going to choose herself. She's going to choose her last shot at freedom. And let's be clear, she didn't give up that easily. She's pretty much bankrupted herself over the last 6 months in order just to keep this lie going.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think she gave up. I think she was tired of fighting, because for the past 6 months, she has had to deal with being blackmailed by Leo. She's had to deal with knowing that this was Nicole's baby. She has had to deal with seeing the three of them together and realizing, like, that picture is the detriment of my relationship. She's also had to realize that she has no connection to the baby. Like, Eric has basically been the one who is really like taking care of Jude. She's been there, but there really hasn't been a mother-son connection to Jude, right? But every time Nicole's around, and it's like, oh, let me get on. Like, what? Like, he's comfortable. So I think this was her kind of being like, the jig is up. There's nothing else that I can do. I have fought, and I have fought. And like, I just cannot fight anymore. I thought I had a way out, but now EJ saw Nicole and Eric kissing, which pushed him over the edge, which when she thought like, okay, this is great. You hate Eric. You don't want them to have the baby, great. And then he saw that, he was like, nope, I'm going to protect her. You give them back to baby, but we're going to say it's mine. She was just like,
I know. Fine, bitch.
Fine.
Well, first she goes and gets drunk.
as everyone in Salem should.
At
when
small
your
bar.
world is falling apart.
Great week for small bar. Not a great
Right.
week for Eric, having to handle all these drunk broads. First Nicole, then Sloan. Getting
Also,
socked in the face.
Right.
Just trying
Also,
to...
Been a bad week.
Shout out to finally knowing that it's called small bar. I had no idea that's what it was called.
Oh, we knew it was called
Yeah,
small bar.
I knew that, yeah.
Before, but
I didn't. I must have missed that.
Every once in a while, though, when they say the name, they don't use it a lot, though.
Right. But yeah, it's like what should we call this? It's small and a bar. Small bar.
Small bar. Just like remember Club TBD?
TBD.
Yeah. It's a club. What's the name of it?
TBD.
TBD. We're gonna keep that. I would like to get your thoughts about the Nicole Eric kiss. Necessary or no?
I think it was just a reconfirmation of it was. I think the intent of it was to put EJ. The intent of it was for EJ. The intent of it was so EJ would see it and then do what he did with Sloan.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that was the point of the kiss. I don't think I'm gonna backtrack. I don't think we needed the reconfirmation that Eric and Nicole are hot for each other. That's just always looming over here with everything. We didn't need that reconfirmation. There just needed to be something that pushed EJ kind of over, to make him go back to. Something had to make him go back to Sloan and say, "We're taking the baby."
Yeah,
and that was it.
Yeah.
I felt like, one, I didn't need Nicole to kiss Eric because I didn't need Nicole to look weak in a drunken state. I would have accepted a questionable embrace that reminded us that their connection is still strong, which still could have like spiraled EJ into like doing what he did. If I'm being honest, I had a problem with the kiss only because I felt like, you know, there has been reassurance that there's nothing with Eric, there's nothing with Eric, there's nothing with Eric. And I think just maybe having these questionable times where like he was the one that went and got her from Small Bar. Now they're in the living room and they're sharing what seems to be an intimate moment. I would have been fine with that. But like to have her initiate a kiss was kind of like, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it.
No one here likes it. That's the problem. That's why the question is being posed here, is because everyone here has made their opinion very clear.
I mean, we've made our opinions, but for me at this point, I'm kind of like Sloan in the baby situation. Like, I'm about to give up and be like, y'all want it? Go.
We've had to make peace with it. That's the thing.
Like, it's gonna happen. This is what they have done with them ever since Eric and Nicole. Every time Eric and Nicole are on the canvas, it's like they're together, they're not together. They're together, they're not together. And it's just I'm just like, okay. Oh, hey.
Oh, hi, McFloyd. Thank you for your contribution. And he says, Daddy EJ did nothing wrong. He's saving us from Nicole and Eric.
I mean...
I really think it goes back to what we were saying when we first realized this is where they were going to go. I think the Nicole Eric train has passed.
Yeah.
And I think we lost a lot of respect for Eric towards Nicole when he yelled at her. Well, first, when he, right after they got married, left and went to Africa.
Yep.
And then came back over a year later, and she had a slip, which I guess now makes sense why the drunken kiss happened, because when she got drunk, she had the affair with Xander.
She fucked with Xander.
And then he went off on her and was like, rah, 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 divorce. And we were just like, we're done. We're done. We are done. We are DONE. Stick a fork in it. We are done.
They were really writing Eric to be very self-righteous, very selfish and self-righteous during that time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which I'm surprised.
They've, of course, corrected a little bit, but yeah.
Well, I'm surprised that Sloan didn't get that same energy when she revealed what she did. I was expecting, like Annette said, Eric usually overreacts. So I was expecting him to go off on her. And
well, I think that's his plan. For whatever reason, his instinct was to immediately get this child back to Nicole. And then he even said, he looked at Sloan when he was leaving and was like, bitch, don't go anywhere. We're not done. So I think he's still like, his intention was to get Jude back to Nicole first and then deal with Sloan. But
so you
I'm
think
like,
there's gonna be a
the
part
bitch is
2?
gonna bail. Like, there's no way she's sticking around to
Hell
listen
yeah.
to you. No, she's gonna be like, yeah, I'll stay here, and as soon as the door closed, bye.
I don't know the way. Did y'all pay attention to that shot where like Eric is like looking at Jude and like Sloan is just like on the couch, and I was like, girl, she's in this moment of like, now what? What now?
It was funny when I was thinking, like, in real life, as soon as he shut the door, I was expecting Sloan to like jump off the couch and immediately
Yep.
start packing, yeah, to like get the hell out of there. Like,
Until she realizes her apartment.
but also, I think this is in a weird way. Like, yes, like Sloan is bad. She did a horrible thing. EJ is due for a comeuppance sometime soon. We're assuming, but also it sort of lets like Nicole and Eric off the hook. Like they knowingly married 2 other people. They know they have feelings. They've been like trying to suppress it, but they keep allowing themselves to be in situations. I thought EJ made some good points this week, even though he was trying to guilt Nicole because he knew about the kiss. He was right when he said like, okay, it's Eric to the rescue again. Why didn't someone call me? Why didn't Eric say, I'm going to call your husband. I'm going to allow your husband to come down here and get you. You know what I mean? It's like they keep allowing themselves, like pretending we're just friends. Nothing's going to happen. Well, you know that's not true.
We were supposed to work together. That's the only
Exactly,
reason he found me
yeah,
and whatever. But like to your point, okay, he could have been like, okay, I'm calling EJ to come get you.
Yeah.
Not I'm going to be your knight in shining armor and take you home.
And deliver you home and walk you into the house, not walk you in and call for help. I don't know. They're sort of getting off scot-free. Like, not that there are other people that are worse than them. They're partners, but they're sort of allowing them to be saintly in this situation.
Listen, Eric walked in and like there was the Beyonce fan blowing, and he was like, "I can be your hero, baby," as he takes away the pain.
You know, what just occurred to me in this moment, and this is gonna sound funny the minute I say it, but just go with me on this.
Oh, wait a minute! Don't say something's gonna sound funny unless you are sure it's gonna be funny.
I think some people will at least raise their eyebrows. We as soap fans have gotten smarter.
Did you hold for laughter?
No, I was looking at Michael Mattis's eyebrow just to make
I'm sorry. I read soap Twitter. I disagree with that statement.
No. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Let me rephrase that.
So
Some
that's
of us
the funny
might be,
part.
True soap fans who know the history, who know the shows, who don't spend their time screaming into the Twitter void on a daily basis, have gotten smarter. And here's my argument for that. We have grown up with these shows, and we now are adults, and we know what does and doesn't work on the show, and we know what does and doesn't work in real life, and we seem to be wanting more realistic couples. Again, counterintuitive argument to say about a soap opera, but our whole argument for Nicole and EJ is that they complement each other. They work well with each other. They don't try to change each other.
They know each other.
That's what attracted us to EJ and Nicole. They understood who the other one was, and they didn't judge them, didn't put them down, didn't expect them to change. There was like a mutual respect for that they were less than perfect people.
Yes, and it's how that's the staple for every successful relationship that we like on the show. That's why we like John and Marlena. It's why we like Abe and Paulina. There's that mutual respect and understanding that is just the core of the relationship, and it makes it stand out. And if they would have just let Nicole and EJ have that, we would have been fine.
Agreed. Like, I feel like Eric was a moment in time for Nicole. But Dylan. But
Marriage.
but yeah, I feel like EJ and Nicole are more in game than Eric and Nicole. But I wonder. I mean, Michael Madison and Araceli, you guys are more familiar with soap Twitter than I am. Justin, I don't know how familiar you are with it.
Not at all.
But like,
He avoids it like the plague.
Don't know her. Don't know her.
don't know her.
Don't need to know her. Yeah.
But I'm wondering how fans feel about this. Like,
Yeah.
are they more team EJ and Nicole, or are they more team Eric and Nicole?
All I see is Eric and Nicole. Like all I see is like road to redemption, road to reunition. That's not a word. You know what I mean. I see more Eric and Nicole feedback than I do, or like Eric and Nicole fandom than I do Nicole and EJ.
Ironically, I don't. I see more arguments about like, I don't know what. The thing about Twitter is that you, the algorithm is kind of going to hone in on what you are and aren't doing. So I don't get much of the Eric and Nicole stuff. I'm assuming all the smart people are already here in this room with us and understand the practicalities that go into a successful relationship and know that in real life, Eric and Nicole, this ain't it.
It's just they're we've said it before, they're just toxic with each other.
Yeah.
Eric and Nicole.
They bring out the worst in each other.
They continue to have a very idealistic notion, a very romantic notion about their connection, about the relationship. But as Bridgerton has taught us, you can have practical similarities with someone and it can still be hot.
Excuse me.
Interesting. I don't know if we've ever put this to a poll, but you know, I love a good poll.
Please do.
POLL, not POLE. So I'm gonna put this on our Instagram right now and ask who everyone is rooting for. Are we rooting for EJ and Nicole or Nicole and Eric? You can find that on Dishin Days Instagram at Dishin Days.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is where we are. Nicole has her baby back. We will get more of that reaction come Monday.
The fallout should continue Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since she just like the last scene was just her getting the baby back and
a real baby. Shout out to that.
Real baby.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He totally like hit his mark with Nicole, the handoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was very smiley.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I agree, and I'm going to bring this up again. I don't know if I brought this before, but I'm pretty sure I have. Everybody who complains about why don't they hire real babies? Why don't they hire real babies? Okay, 1, children are expensive. 2, it is required that you have twins on set. That's why y'all never see Eli and Lonnie's kids, because you'd have to have 4 kids on set at the same time. Plus accommodate the parents. Plus
Emily O'Brien played the
put that
other.
up. Yeah. John Delray.
Plus a teacher if they're school age, and I believe infants are only allowed to work for less than an hour. So if the baby's fussy, if the baby's crying, and you switch off to the other baby, and that baby's still fussy and that baby's still crying, guess what? There goes your entire day. For those who didn't know, that's my little behind the scenes spiel, because I'm sick and tired of people who don't know, not being in the know. So now you know.
Well, let me tell you, the baby was amazing. That's a healthy baby.
Yeah.
Good baby.
and that baby knows how to work. That baby was turned
Gave good
around.
face.
He gave face. He gave a smile. And then once he was off camera, he was like, "Mwah," because he was like, "That's it, right?"
And it sort of the baby sort of looked like Greg Vaughn, like Eric a little bit. I was like, oh, interesting. Got a little baby.
I don't know why that made me. You're like, oh, interesting. Interesting. I don't know. I feel like this this storyline is going to be very interesting. I have now posted the poll on our Instagram stories. I love doing this during the show because after the show, I will forget. Who I really hope, I kind of hope this. I hope Leo and Melinda Trask are not affected by it. I don't know why. It's like I want everyone to get.
Sloan kind of gave Melinda a pass, like, and you know, I feel that. I get that they're friends and everything. I guess I would have expected Sloan to be like, "Bitch, you're coming down with me," but maybe that's not. Maybe that's not in Sloan's DNA. Like, even though Melinda was the one Melinda was essentially pretty much the mastermind behind the idea.
Yeah, originally, yep.
And the fact if she gets a pass, like, I don't know if I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it. I love Melinda Trask and I love Tina Hong, so whatever keeps her on the canvas. But I feel it's a little unfair to first. I would feel it's unfair for Sloan to take all of the blame when it was literally Melinda was the one that convinced her to do it.
Well, I can almost guarantee that Leo's going to face some kind of a fallout.
With who?
No, he won't.
Well, that's the big question.
He's going to face some
now.
kind of a fallout, but it won't be. No.
Yeah, no. I don't know I don't know what kind of from who, but there's no way he comes out of this unscathed.
No, I tell you this, everybody needs to leave Leo alone because Leo has the key to really shut down everybody. He can shut down Eric and Sloan. He can shut down Nicole and EJ. Like, because remember, EJ paid him a huge lump sum to.
Yeah.
So,
Wonder if EJ's gonna try to get the money back.
That would be stupid.
Recall the transfer.
What's done is done. What is done is done. So I would say leave leave Leo alone, leave Eric alone, leave Trask alone. Bing, bada bing, bada boom. Everybody's fine.
Yeah, well.
All right. Well, now that we talked that down into the ground, let's move on. Let's move on to Did I Do That? We're talking about. Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, what? Always thinking, Michael Maddox. Always thinking. Always thinking. It is the story of Boberett. Yep, I think that's how we feel too.
Well, so clearly we now know his trigger from Everett to Bobby is possibly violence?
I think violence, domestic.
Yeah, domestic violence.
Yeah.
Because he went and said, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Punch.
Punch.
Can I just say that Jada's face was very much like Boberett, do it. Jada's face when he left his jail cell was very much like, I know you lying.
Skeptical.
It was like, was that the Bobby I know? Yeah.
I also have to give a shout out to Jada's outfit because it was nice to just kind of see her in regular clothes and not in like a pantsuit.
The pantsuit with the blazer. Yeah, no, she was in like.
But she was wearing those jeans and shirt. I was like, okay, and the hair was like coiffy and stuff. I was like, okay, Miss Jada, like you came into work on your day off just to like tidy up your desk because you ain't got.
Well, now that she probably has more bathroom space to work with at Rafe's house than she did at that room at the pub. Like she probably has more room to like spray on herself and do her hair and properly and put herself together.
How do we feel about this storyline? It's still very intriguing. I can tell already it's not going to be the same as like Abigail's DID nonetheless. But what do you guys think?
I hated when they gave Abigail DID. I really did. I felt like they made it so cartoonish, and so. We talked. We talked about that wig to death. We talked about that wig so much I wanted to beat it.
Oh, the
It was
black
not.
wig?
Yes, that black wig.
Yeah.
Gabby
You
with
know
an
what?
I, Gabby with a Y. It was not pleasant.
You know what we're talking about now? Boberett.
And this, I don't know. Maybe it's just
He doesn't have a wig. He just has like Everett. He doesn't have. Excuse me, Bobby. Robert Stein does not have a wig. He's got BDE.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe I just like the way that that's being played better.
If we're going to compare the two, no one will ever be able to change my mind or not have enjoyed Abigail's DID. From the wig to the glasses to the subtle movements, like Marcy Miller slayed that DID storyline.
No. Oh no,
and
nothing
I
against
liked
Marcy.
and I liked the fact that there were, you could tell who she was before she talked. You could tell, you can even tell the times where her DID was like trying to be someone else while she's someone else. Like there was a lot to that. There was so many layers to that. So we almost can't even compare the two because the two are very different. Whereas her DID was multiple characters, and at any given second, we had to see and know who Abigail was. With this, we're still learning because there were still times where I didn't know who he was until he said something. And I still haven't caught on yet.
He does. I will say Blake does kind of shift his eyes a little bit when he's going from Everett to Bobby. Like he does something with his eyes. Like he just like maybe relaxes his face a little bit. And again, he just gets a little more suave kind of energy. So now I've kind of picked up on that when he gets that kind of, or in this case, this week, he got angry and he kind of had like mean eyes.
Yeah. Thank you again, McFloyd. You see why Jada stuck around Bobby. Bobby got a cannon. Pew pew.
Okay, I should say
Pow pow,
maybe
bitch. Oh
I
my
should
God.
say maybe it's
like-
not that I.
Sorry, Araceli, you were saying?
What I have to work with. Oh my god. Anyways, maybe it's not that I dislike Blake's performance compared to Marcy's. Maybe it's that I've seen DID portrayed so many times on different soaps.
Yes.
It's also going on YNR right now.
Yes.
And maybe it's just that after seeing it so many times,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing it portrayed in a different way.
Agreed.
I like that this time it's more subtle. It's being played with more subtle. There's only two personalities that we know of. The way that it was revealed was really shocking, and it was really I think I just liked how this came about.
Yes. I do like the differences, and both actors, Marcy Miller and Blake Barris, are both doing a great job with it. As a viewer, I'm still trying to learn the differences. Sometimes I can catch on to it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, but I like learning how this DID is going to be portrayed
Mhm.
Yes.
and what triggers, Bobby versus Everett. There is a distinct difference because Bobby is Rico Suave. Like when
Mhm.
he's Bobby, there are times where I'm like,
Mhm.
Bobby could get it. But then when he's
You
Everett,
could,
but when he's Everett, I'm like, okay, he's very much like the beginning of Beauty and the Beast song. There's something sweet and almost kind. That's Everett, but he was mean and he was hoarse and unrefined. That's Bobby.
I also feel like Bobby's not going to be as like. The thing about Everett, he always annoyed me, even when he was right, just because he was so annoying about it. And I feel like Bobby, like in the instance of like, they're gonna, what they're gonna what did he have such an issue with? That Chad wasn't gonna publish an article about Stefan, or he was gonna publish an article about Stefan, something about that. He was like,
Yes.
well, you don't care about journalistic integrity, blah blah blah. And I'm like, journalistic integrity, okay? Like, get off your high horse, dude. I feel like Bobby would be like, yeah, bro, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think I like Bobby more than I do Everett.
Let me tell you,
okay.
Bobby wouldn't even be at that meeting. He'd be like, this
He'd be
could
like,
have been
"I'm
an
taking-"
email, bro.
He's like, I'll take it from home. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another thing that I like, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing this, as we got a little glimpse of it, is that we get to see how the two different personalities are with their respective partners. How we've seen Everett with Stephanie. Now it seems like we're going to be introduced more to Bobby, and we're going to be seeing how he interacts with Jada.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Bobby, the personality, just outside of like him trying to pick up a woman or him like making a sly comment to Jada. Like, I want to see this guy that she fell in love with, because it can't all be that, because that also doesn't seem like something that would attract Jada. Maybe like his confidence and like his maybe a little bit of his Playboy style, but also like, how did she wind up married to this man? Like, I need you to show me that.
There's got to be some sort of what's the word? Don't know. Some sort of redeeming qualities about this guy that she fell for and spent and was married to. Yeah.
Because I feel like Jada's kind of like, because at first Jada was very like, oh, Bobby,
yes,
you Bobby, or what you did to me, Bobby. But then when he was like, hey, you looking good, she was like, she didn't know how to respond. I would have felt the same way too, because if he was like, yo, Tony, how you doing? That sweater looks good on you. I'd be like, Bobby, you better stop. But I think also we got a glimpse of that with the woman that he talked to at the pub.
The pub hoe.
Because then the next day she was like, hey, Bobby. And I was like, oh, what you and Bobby do? Made an impression. So I don't know. I think the more this story unfolds, one, I think we're gonna see and maybe find out more of Jada and Bobby's history, which I would love. I would love flashbacks somehow, just like of what their relationship was like. Yeah, I would love that.
Was it against any kind of doctor-patient confidentiality that Marlena just spilled everything she thought was going on to?
She gave an explanation for that, though.
Did she? I missed it.
She gave a whole.
Maybe she did.
She gave an explanation because if he had
not that we're used to this, like doctors not following protocol. Kayla doesn't follow it at all, but still, we always have to question it a little bit. But what was the explanation?
So the explanation was that, first of all, he didn't make the call to Marlena. Rafe and Jada called her to consult. And she told them, I cannot give you information about our private sessions that I had while he was a patient of mine. All I can do is tell you what I have observed in these 5 minutes that I've been with him.
Okay.
But and take into account everything that you have told me about what happened last night, everything that Eric told her about what happened last night. That's all that she could reveal. And she made that very clear to them.
Yeah, but then she immediately gave a diagnosis that was 90% of her interaction with him as a patient. So it was like...
But then I guess I still...
She would have said DID. She would have been like, I don't understand what's wrong with this guy. He's saying one thing, he's doing another. I don't understand that.
He literally changed personalities right in front of her.
In front of everybody.
Yes.
Okay, so giving that information to law enforcement, Jada and Rafe, is one thing, but then calling Stephanie, dragging her over, and then spilling everything to her. I was like, I think that part, maybe not telling Rafe and Jada, but roping Stephanie in and then giving everything to her. Like, she's not law enforcement. She's just, like a friend. And I think she would have had to like get, I just thought that was maybe crossing a line.
Yeah. It was.
I forgot whose idea was it to call Stephanie?
Marlena, I think.
Was it? Or was it?
Oh, no, it was Jada. Jada called Stephanie.
Yeah.
Jada called Stephanie.
But still, when she got there, Marlena was very eager to tell her.
Just like, here's the diagnosis. Here's what's going on. Here's all of his private medical.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Rafe and Jada, one thing, spilling it to Stephanie.
But do you think that was, I mean, obviously... There's concern because Jada knows Bobby. Nobody else knows Bobby. Jada knows Bobby. And Bobby obviously is a violent type because of what transpired with Eric. So it's almost like there's some sort of like unwritten rule that like you should probably tell Stephanie, like, hey, like, here's the tea to like protect her.
If Jada had done that, like, so Marlena told Jada and Rafe. If they had told Stephanie, whatever, but the fact that it was Marlena, and I know previous, but still his doctor, like, she was the one to deliver the news. It hit,
Well, technically,
in the real world, it would have been a HIPAA violation.
Well, technically, former doctor, but not current doctor, but also
I don't know if that makes a difference. Like,
a professional licensed person who was in observance of what was happening and had to explain in layman's term the possible dangers.
But it wasn't in layman's term. She gave a medical diagnosis. She even said dissociative identity disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like she just said he's a little crazy. Like, she gave, like, it just struck me as giving it to Jada and Rafe, law enforcement, one thing, but roping Stephanie in and just spilling it all to her on Marlena's part was wrong. If Jada or Rafe had done it, they're just relaying information. But yeah, I don't know. And again, it's Days, like, what's her name, Kayla, spills shit, like, you want what you want to know? Okay, I'll tell you. So I have to remember that too. HIPAA laws maybe don't apply in the world of Salem, unless it fits the storyline, which in this case it doesn't, I guess.
It's just a lot with this. With this story. Ann Milbauer.
Ann Milbauer would have been like, I ain't telling you shit.
The story intrigues me for sure. Because I think I want to know more about Bobby. And I think that would allow me to know more about Everett. But then there's a question of who is he?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Is he Bobby or is he Everett?
I mean, yeah. Well, according to the rules of DID, there is supposed to be just one host personality. So which one is it?
Well, it's Bobby's the actual Bobby's the host, right? Because he's the child in the birth certificate, and so he's the So Everett,
Everett's the created personality.
Exactly. Because Bobby's the child who was possibly abused. He was the one.
And he had to create Everett to...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And in that case, I need that to be made very clear to Stephanie, because, girl, you're oh my God.
Stephanie needs to take a break from the men, focus on Stephanie.
Seriously.
Just...
Y'all let Stephanie
get a B.O.B.
No.
to get yourself by, and then just,
A what?
A B.O.B., a battery-operated boyfriend. To get yourself, but to get your pals.
That's why Araceli was choking. What B.O.B. was.
No, I'm trying to get a hold of myself. No, look. The straw for me this week,
that works
and
too.
I say this week because because Stephanie just can't catch a break. I mean, Chad was basically doing everything possible not to roll his eyes at Stephanie, because he's hearing her just talk and basically try to make excuses for Everett. And he's rightly pointing out, I'm like, you don't see anything weird about this. Not one thing. This is all explainable, right?
What?
No, that's what Chad was saying to Stephanie.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you, concerned friend. Thank you.
Concerned ex-lover.
Yeah.
Concerned friend who's
ex-lover.
Who's trying to look out for his friend and say, hey, not trying to criticize, not trying to judge. I'm just gonna point out that maybe,
girl, you're being stupid. That
yeah.
But Stephanie is never not going to be stupid when it comes to men. It sucks, but shout out to, again, Abigail Klein and her facial expressions this week.
Yeah.
Like when Everett, Bobby, whatever his name is, socked Eric in the face, and just yeah.
Did I miss it, or
job.
did we see? We didn't see the reactions to it. No, I think he punched Eric, and then it just cut to black. I would have loved to have seen her reaction to that.
We did, yeah. There was some stuff.
They cut her, and she was like.
But there was no the after drama.
Yeah.
Like it was like the next episode opened. Yeah. Everett was in jail. Eric had sunglasses on and was covering his. There was no they didn't go back to the scene.
Yeah. And I felt like so sorry. This was the one week I felt really sorry for Leo, because I
didn't.
No, because he was just so obviously the third wheel, and he was like, what am I doing here?
I gotta say, I like that trio. I was surprised when they were like, we're gonna go out, and Stephanie was like pushing, like, no, come with us, blah blah blah, you'll find someone. Like, she seemed very vested and interested in like cheering him up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But I think it's also like we've kind of been saying about him is like, you have to branch out his character a bit. He can't just be, a nice guy or interesting or appealing to one character on the show and sort of like annoyed by everyone else. Like, you have to branch him out a bit. And I thought, I didn't mind that trio of like, okay, the three of them, even though he was the third wheel, it seemed like he was kind of okay there and kind of having fun and whatever.
Him being the third wheel, commenting on himself being the third wheel, and saying, what am I doing here, made more sense in this scene than putting him in other scenes where he easily could have lifted up.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's speaking of Leo being in other people's business,
Mm.
we'll move on to secrets. I still, for the life of me, will never understand why Tate wants to have Holly back, but that's just me.
I like them. They're cute.
Sure, but I mean, would you still like someone that
She did
left
him
you in
dirty.
jail?
Like she did. Like no. Oops. There we go.
What?
I accidentally hit something on my screen.
Mm.
Anyway, no, she did him dirty for her reasons, but he's choosing to forget it. So
Look, I could make
his
so many.
prerogative, I guess.
Since we're
But
expanding into the
but
teen
I will say he can't. If she pulls some shit later on, it's kind of he shouldn't, at least, like if she pulls some shit later on, he shouldn't razz her for it. He knows what he's getting into with her.
I mean, I think we accept it because this is the teen scene. They're very young. At this point in their lives, stupid mistakes are expected. And let's flash back to the Last Blessed crew. Their beginnings were extremely rocky.
But who got left in jail?
Yeah, this was a little
Right.
more extreme than just like some teen bullshit. Like
Yeah,
there was
but
criminal.
they had their ups and downs over the years. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, so far I'm liking it.
Their ups and downs were typical teenage stuff. This was this new generation teenage stuff where, oh, I'm gonna do drugs. Oh, I done got overdose. Oh,
This is like euphoria drama.
the guy that I'm resisting because I had feelings for my stepbrother and I told him never a chance in hell. And now like he still then tried to help me and cover things up, and then I went into a coma, left him in jail, and even when I woke up, didn't even want to confess that I was the one who took the drugs because I didn't want my mom to look at me in a certain way, even though I just told my mom off because I couldn't go to prom.
And then apologized over text.
Yeah.
That actually, as terrible as that was, yes.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's kind of realistic, I thought.
It's realistic, but if I were Nicole, I would have been like, say it's my face. But
I feel like Nicole was like relieved to get that text, and it was like, okay, like we can kind of move on. Like I know you didn't mean it.
yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Give them an out, I guess.
What were y'all's reactions when Holly was like, oh, those babies are better off dead than to have a mother like you?
We talked about it last week, and how like you would expect, especially on a soap opera, you would have expected Nicole to haul off and slap her, throw her out the window, but instead it almost like she went and tried to embrace Holly, and so it was like an interesting moment. Personally, I would not have cared for that.
Yeah, we talked about how like Nicole's not really doing well as a mother to a teenager.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about what she said?
That she's not a very good mother to a teenager. That Nicole's not a very good mother to a teenager, but Holly's reaction was very typical for a teenager. They say things in the heat of the moment they don't mean.
You mean to tell me when you heard that you were just like, typical teenager?
No, not I'm saying just because it was expected doesn't mean that Nicole's reaction would be my reaction. I still have criticism for Holly the way I would for any person who said that. My reaction would have been far more severe. Whether I'm the mother or the person even just standing in the room, I probably would have hauled off not even being the parent. But
well, that's where I was trying to get to. How did you feel when Holly said that? Like, what was your reaction?
I
think
I
is there a
cannot
question
say
in there somewhere?
Okay, Teo.
I'm going to flash back to
Oh, here we go.
Are you going to flash back to when you saw the scene and just tell us how you felt about it when
I'm
you watched
going to
it?
flash back to a couple of years ago and repeat something I said when we had a conversation about Ava, which is, I'm not going to say anything that could incriminate me in a court of law.
Justin, how did you
Or
feel
child
when
court.
you,
Or children's court.
how did you feel when you saw it?
It was disrespectful and like way overboard, and I too expected Nicole to slap Holly, but I also not understood what she said, but I think Holly is dealing with a lot of stuff that doesn't just have anything to do with the prom, and I also think Holly has made some good points, and I actually agree. I think Nicole is not bad in this situation, but I think she's the one that's floundering, honestly. I think
Who is?
Nicole.
It's
She
floundering.
has not been I don't think she's been doing the right thing as a parent from the get-go, I think. I think she's handled the situation incredibly wrong in a lot of ways. And I think
we all agreed that like the keeping her from prom wasn't the right thing to do. Like, and that's what kind of started the chain
Did
of
we all
events that
agree?
led up. Did we?
oh, I agree.
Did we?
We who were
I
here
think
last
so.
week.
Y'all did.
We who were here last week.
God.
We agreed that there was a
There was an
room for
alternative
prom-
solution rather than
Yes.
banning her from going
That's
to the
what we talked
prom.
about.
There
Like,
was an alternative
Yeah.
solution that would have prevented this situation from
Mhm.
escalating the way it did.
Well, no. Well, how you prevent the situation from escalating is don't be a disrespectful little brat.
She was being a disrespectful little brat because of a chain of events that started on Mother's Day with Nicole being like, "You cannot go to prom. You have not won back my trust." Rah rah rah. That's what set that chain of events off and ended up leading to Holly being the disrespectful brat that she was. Nicole could have course corrected and had said like, "Okay, you can go to prom, but maybe with an early curfew," or like a compromise versus just not
Her
going.
chaperoning the way Brady and Teresa are doing.
But is anyone not understanding the fact that your child was doing drugs? Your child was sneaking alcohol. Your child almost died. Your child was in a coma and had to go to a specialist in Italy in order to recover. And everybody wants Nicole just to be like, all right, girl, you can go, but you just got to be back early or I'm in the chaperone. Like,
You got to give her a little bit at some point, though. You can't
But
just
I-
hold her hostage
but-
for forever.
But there hasn't been any sort of punishment
Well, here's the thing, Tony.
for what she's done. Like,
Well, here's the thing, Tony, and you just
but
said it.
No,
You-
but here's the thing, though, is that the only thing that has happened thus far is that she got her phone taken away from her, and like,
Yeah.
Nicole still hasn't even. I don't think she's even figured out like how to even move forward. She's thankful for the fact that
Mhm.
her daughter is alive, but it's like, like I just don't know any parent that would feel comfortable in like releasing reins when like she just woke up out of the coma not too long
Well,
ago.
Here's the thing, Tony. You just said the magic words is that Nicole hasn't been consistent. She's been pretty inconsistent about Holly's so-called punishments, and which is why Holly has felt emboldened up until this point, because Holly was so grateful. Nicole's so grateful that Holly was alive that she really kind of let her off the hook. You know, she should have from the beginning, from the second she found out that Holly lied, should have brought down the hammer, should have put severe restrictions in place, should have set firm curfews, should have set firm rules. Instead, she allowed Holly a little too much room. And now she's trying to do the opposite. She's trying to be super strict and say, you can't do this and you can't do that. So, of course, Holly's upset.
Well, then she
because-
wanted her to get well first. Like she didn't want her to wake up out of the coma and her to say, "Bitch, you grounded until eternity."
Yeah, no, I know that, but it's just, and I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. But the problem is that we said this last week, the teenagers are little tiny creatures. They're little beasts. You have to be consistent. You have to be firm. You can't allow them wiggle room to try to pressure you or trick you, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to push and they're going to push and they're going to push. And Nicole, up until this point, hasn't been consistent. She has given her that wiggle room, that freedom that has emboldened Holly to say, as long as I'm a straight A student, I can do whatever I want. And that's
well, she ain't no straight A student. She behind.
And but she's catching up. The assumption is that she's been a very good student up until this point, and that's and again, that's another thing that Nicole had used in her argument when she thought that the drugs weren't Holly. My girl's a good student. My girl has friends. She's pop, blah, blah, go down the typical list, blah, blah, blah. The drugs couldn't be hers, blah, blah, blah. So
I just feel like
you just need consistency.
First of all, there's nothing that would warrant Holly to even talk to her mother like that, and to even go as far as saying that like your babies who died are better off because basically you're not a good mom. Like, I'm sorry, at what point is any mother prepared or knows what to do when you find out that your kid is on drugs, your kid has been drinking, and your kid almost died from it? Like, I don't know anyone that we can say all day what we think should happen, but it's like, how do you react to that? Especially when she's able to come out from it. Like, the whole time Holly was saying that, I was like, slap her. Slap her. Because there's only so much that a parent can take, especially what Nicole has been through. She's lost a child. Well, now she got it back. Yeah. But at the time,
she thought she had lost a child.
At the time, she lost a child. So she was going through that. She also recognized the fact that she hadn't been there for Holly because she was trying to get herself together after losing said child. And then to go through that and then find out, well, this fucking little kid has been like sneaking alcohol and doing drugs. Now almost lost her. It's like I'm sure her mind is all over the place. And then to have this child who almost died talk to me like that?
I don't know. I'm sort of separating them. I think what Holly said to Nicole was completely disrespectful and deserved a slap. But that also is not the culmination of what we've seen of Holly the past few months. And I think maybe some of the things we talked about last week was that Holly made some good points, not in the disrespectful stuff she said, but in the other stuff she said to Nicole over the past few weeks about, and actually we talked about this, I think last week too, Nicole brought up the fact of Holly's childhood and issues there. And she talked about Chloe birthing her and raising her at some point. And then this, Nicole being in and out. And then we talk about Daniel's dead and she's the only living parent. And then, there have been multiple husbands since then. So I think those are the things that I think probably are stemming and are coming up in these therapy sessions that Holly's going through and are coming to the forefront. And I think the solution to that isn't go to your room and shut up like that. I don't necessarily agree with punishing someone for an accidental overdose. To me, that's not something you punish a kid for. I think if your kid is experimenting with drugs, yeah, that's bad. But I don't know, for someone like Nicole, to me, that's you sit down and you figure that out. Like you figure why that's happening. You figure what that's happening about. I mean, I don't know. We haven't, Holly is not some, Salem drug dealer who's working for Clyde that needs to be set straight. She's a teenage kid who was experimenting with Ritalin essentially is what it was. And accidentally overdosed.
Being caught with drugs, like your mom catching you in the backyard smoking weed is one thing. Overdosing on a drug,
accidentally overdosing on a drug that was laced with something,
whether it's by accident or she overdosed and went into a coma and almost died.
Mm-hmm. She did not make a good choice.
She did not. Yeah, but that is. I feel like that is completely different than like your mom catching you in the backyard with weed.
Really? for kids these days, taking a couple of Ritalin to whatever.
Did the weed cause you to go into a coma and almost die?
If it's laced with something, it would. Yeah.
Everything is laced with everything these days.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Holly is not. I don't know. To me, I never got Holly's a teenage drug addict. What I saw was I guess maybe somewhat realistic depiction of a kid experimenting with drugs.
Yeah.
And it went too far. I just don't think the solution to a kid experimenting with drugs that went too far is lock you in your room for 6 months. You know what I mean? I feel like,
and to Araceli's point, the inconsistency, like Nicole, like maybe giving a little bit, and then Holly being like, "Oh, well, I can go to the prom." Nicole, nope, can't go to. You can do it, but can't do that. Like the inconsistency is probably a big factor.
Look, here's the long and the short of it. Teenagers, you can be a wonderful human being. From age 13 to 18, you are tiny demons. And I will treat you as a tiny demon that you are. Because I know, even at your sweetest, there's something going on there. And I'm going to be on guard. And that's the attitude that you have to have with teenagers. And you can love them and be so grateful that they're alive and grateful when they do good and they are good. But you have to be on guard. And you have to be firm. And you have to be consistent.
Long and short of it is Nicole said you can't go to prom. She can have a little attitude about it, but to take it to that level of disrespect is unnecessary. Whether Nicole is inconsistent or not, whether she didn't have a way of how to punish Holly or not, if she said, you ain't going to prom, you are a junior, you're not going to prom. Get mad, but don't cross that level of disrespect. There has to be some sort of understanding that there is concern, because while she doesn't want to lock you away for 6 months, there's still a trigger that who knows what's going to happen at this prom.
But that, we talked about that last week. That's the thing. I feel like
I understand y'all had a whole conversation last week.
I know.
Because it happened last week.
The prom?
We're talking about something that happened last week.
The prom?
No, she yelled at her. Wasn't it this week?
No, it was last week.
It was last week.
Oh, well, then that's my fault.
We're still coming. I said we're talking about this because you're still catching up, and I'm just going to end this right here. Teenagers are not rational human beings.
Is that how you're going to wrap it up?
Well, I was going to say, one of the points that we made last week is that, like, nothing bad happens at prom, so it sort of seems like it seems to us in a way that she's making a big deal about not much, not nothing, but it's sort of like if you put restrictions on it, hey, we're going to drop you off at the prom, we'll drop you and your date off, you go to the prom, when the prom's over, we'll pick you up. Nothing is going to happen at prom that isn't going to happen to Holly anywhere else that she has access to. We see she freely goes and hangs out with Sophia Petrillo. We see that she...
Not about labeling her Sophia Petrillo.
She really comes and goes to the pub, so she's not on any sort of house. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's going to happen at the prom. I'd be more concerned about the other things she does, quite honestly, than her going to a prom.
She can go to the prom. She just can't go to the after.
Yeah,
prom.
Exactly.
I think that's what we decided. Let her go to the prom, but she has to come home immediately after.
Yeah. But look what was about to happen, right? So let's say she did go to prom. Tate was already having a plan to like sneak off with Holly.
Well, I thought he meant like sneak off, like not leave the prom, but like leave, like we'll get our own corner to hang out. I mean, they're already kissing at school. They're not. I feel like they're not.
Well, they're kissing in that same part where they keep getting caught at.
Oh no, at school too, at the locker.
And,
oh yeah.
And that's the point, is that she's going to all these places that she's actively going now are from the time that she gets out of school to the time that she comes home, she's going anywhere she wants, and that's what Nicole should have been worried about.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't seem. I don't know. It seems like we're talking about the drug thing, and yes, there should be consequences and all that, but it seems the show is telling us that drugs aren't a major factor for Holly anymore. That's what the show seems to be telling us.
I really wish at this moment that we could have played the thing from Saved by the Bell. Dumb, stupid. And my bad. Why am I think I thought it happened this week.
That's okay.
Because it kept getting brought up. And so I guess
it was at the end of.
me.
I mean, it was Friday of last week, so it was towards the end of last week, and sometimes the weeks bleed into each other. And
it was triggering. They still talked about it. It made me go.
Never.
So my bad. Anyway, we should probably move on from that because
now the only thing,
thing.
the only thing about this now that I'm actually very excited about is no, there's two things I'm excited about. One is Brady and Teresa chaperoning. I'm actually really excited. I want to actually see the prom now because I want to see that.
Sit down somewhere. Get out of here. Okay, now this is when I get disrespectful to my parents if they ever said, I'm chaperoning your prom. That is a line you don't cross. Sorry. You don't chaperone your child's prom. If you want to chaperone someone else's prom, and
why would you chaperone someone else's prom? That makes no sense.
Why would I want? I don't want to chaperone my own children's prom. Let them have their space. Let them have their fun night. Like,
are you insane?
Your kids. You would chaperone your kid's prom?
It's Araceli.
Oh my god! At the core.
Of course she gonna be sitting in the corner.
Exactly.
Literally the only thing that prevented me from doing it this time around was because it was on a freaking Friday. It was on a Friday. Who the hell throws a dance on a Friday?
When Brady and Teresa were going, I'm like, what? Who are you? What are you talking about? Like, they were so happy and like having themselves on the back.
You would.
Oh, get out of here! What are you talking about?
First of all, how many teachers are at the school? Nobody was available to chaperone. Y'all got to ask the parents.
You know the teachers don't want to be at that prom.
Hell no, yeah.
Well,
if you know teachers inviting me, you know they don't want to be at that prom.
Well, the parents don't want to be there either. The parents want to go. Here's
Apparently
your massage. Here goes your boutonniere. You need a ride. Bye.
I find nothing more revolting than when someone's parents feel like, I'm going to chaperone your prom. Like, no, you're not.
Because the last thing I want is for me to be like,
exactly.
And then all of a sudden, Mama Moore's like, hey,
exactly,
and she comes over with me. It's like, no.
I mean, you also have to deal with like teacher chaperone. Like that makes sense. There's school administration and officials and all that. But no, not parents.
Jack said, as a teacher, he chaperoned the prom.
Oh, that makes sense, but not your child.
Not your parent.
Yeah, no.
Guys, it happens all the time.
Because Araceli is the first one to sign up for it. You go sit down with your hidden Stanley bottle that's full of wine.
Wrong bottle.
Yeah. And I like that.
Wine is not clear.
He was like, what? Your chaperone? Get out. Yeah, like that's how you're supposed to react.
Yeah.
No teenager is happy their parents are chaperoning the prom.
I didn't say Tate was happy about it. I said I was happy about it.
You shouldn't be happy about it. You should be at the house.
You shouldn't want to chaperone your kid's prom.
I had nothing to do with them chaperoning the prom or them interfering with Tate. I'm happy about Brady and Teresa because I have always liked Brady and Teresa.
They could do something together.
Brady and Teresa could be somewhere else chaperoning something else.
And maybe after the prom, they could do something else. And then I would actually enjoy my time watching these characters.
And on that note, I froze. I'll be back.
And
that means we've gone over time.
I know,
when Tony freezes,
we should be on our segments at this point. Yeah.
So let's move on because now we're just going into. Now we've derailed from Days of Our Lives, and now we're talking
there's
about
one person we haven't talked about yet
who?
That was introduced this week, Felicity.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron's sister.
Yeah,
I like her.
Nice. I like that.
I like her. She's cute. She works well with Chanel. Give her a job.
And she's got jokes. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I don't remember there being a Down syndrome character on Days or on Daytime in the recent. recent past,
Yeah, I
right?
don't think Days has ever had. I don't know about any
Nope.
other soaps. I
No.
imagine someone.
I like that,
had
you know,
very
they're just, you know, they you know, we're all for diversity, so they're diversity and you know, we always think that's like people of color, but it's also, you know, people with special needs. So
Yeah.
it's nice that that's represented. It's nice that it's a teenager. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this, if she's going to be integrated with like the Chanel Johnny storyline, given that she's with the bakery, or if she's going to be, you know, part of the teen scene now and
I think
any
she's on
struggles she
contract.
has. So
Yeah, I feel like she's gonna stick around for a little while longer,
Yeah.
especially when they made her Aaron's sister, as opposed. I thought she was just gonna be. We knew she was coming, and I thought she was just
Yeah.
gonna be a character to pop up at the bakery and
Yeah.
you know,
In
one
one
of
day
those
she
like
had
not guardian angels, but that sort of type who beat Chanel and Johnny and whatever changes their mind about possibly the baby kind of a thing. But it seems like no, they're giving her an actual characterization. They're making her part of a family with someone who's sort of being integrated into the teen scene. So
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. All right. So while Tony is gone, I will do the mid-show church announcements leading into our tidbits. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X, aka Twitter, and on Threads. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have a plethora of content in addition to past shows and interviews. We're also on your favorite podcast network: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. If you don't prefer to watch us but to listen to us, there's where to go. And also give some love to our friend JLJ on JLJ Media on YouTube, who covers everything soap operas, not just Days, but YNR, General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and has his own radio dramas or audio dramas to listen to.
Yeah. And next up we start with the first tidbit. Is
If I can
Oh
get there. There we
Baby.
go.
Yes. This is of course Johnny, Chanel, EJ, Nicole, and a little bit of Paulina.
EJ just like
shut up.
you know I am with
Shut up.
whoever suggested, I think it was Chanel, that they get their own place.
Yeah.
I was like 1,000% get out of that house, because EJ like trying to tell Johnny does not want to dictate what's being done with the baby, which is very woke. It's very, you know, 21st century man, like proper, you know. And EJ, and of course it's very in character for EJ to be like, well, you're the father, you have rights, blah blah blah. And it's like, shut up, EJ. Just yeah. So I'm with Chanel and Johnny need to get out of that house.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or could anyone else see kind of like the wheels turning in Johnny's head all week long?
In regards to
Everything. It felt like it felt like on the surface we were getting regular Johnny, loving husband, you know, son standing up to his father, all that. But it felt like to me, the more the Chanel talked, it's like I could see the wheels turning in his head on everything, on the job front, on, you know, after the doctor's appointment, when Chanel said that she wanted to start telling people, it felt like he was trying really, really, really hard not to say things.
You know, now that you say it, I do remember seeing him, like shots of him just kind of being a little bit pensive or like deep in thought, and maybe even slightly like struggling a little bit or conflicted. So subtle, but yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah, it's like he's already in dad mode, kind of like he has that calm exterior, which is great because he needs to keep that in the situation, because he obviously doesn't want Chanel to panic. But it's like I could see everything that was going on inside his head as she was talking, like, oh my God, I need to get a job. Oh my God, she wants to tell people. Oh my God, I need my dad to shut up. It was
and
like
the job that he's getting hired, the job that he wants to get hired for is in LA, and
yes,
let him work remote. And
yeah, and it's like I don't know if that's that's Carson's inner dad mode also coming out on screen, but I could hear it a little bit.
I worry that like so much stuff is being revealed, the name and telling people and all that it makes me feel like, I don't know, we gonna have a baby.
Yeah, it was way too
Well,
soon.
if in the past Days' indication, a woman of color is carrying the baby, so it's not going to survive.
Mm.
AKA Lonnie, AKA who else? But I guess Sloan lost the baby too. So Jada, she had her issue. So
I don't know. I'm on this ride, so
You said it. What now?
oh.
next up.
Next up, we are going to our little tidbit of Home Sweet Home.
Homes up, sweet homes. People moving in and out
We
of
keep
places.
it moving. Oh,
Moving on up, moving on out.
moving.
Moving on. Moving on now. Time to break.
So they're moving back into the Horton house, which
Yeah.
Can we let the furniture be moved in first? Can we?
it's all coming. It's all coming. It's all coming that day. They are ready.
They already got the couch. That's all they need.
When they went
And
to
chair. And the
when they
chair.
went to the Horton house though, when the Horton house first burned down, you couldn't tell me that the Horton house wasn't about to look new, right? I was like, because I even said it. I was like, oh baby, they burned that down because y'all wouldn't let them remodel, y'all wouldn't let them do so they had to burn it out to the ground. And then they said, do back the same. I said,
Yeah.
well, shut my mouth and call me a Horton.
with a new couch, because and here is where Twitter Twitter got it right. We finally burned the rape couch to the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
The what?
The rape couch. After way back in the day when Chase raped Sierra on that couch, they never replaced that couch.
Now they do.
I love that we here at Dishin Days just allow Araceli's moment. We let things be said. We give a nice moment of silence, a head nod, and we carry on.
Because you three men were raised right.
Were you going to say something else? Because you hesitated. You said
No,
you
were
three men.
No, because you were raised right to allow a lady to finish her thought, and I thank you.
Well, technically,
we just know better.
That also technically you're sometimes dealing with three other ladies as well.
I actually like that they didn't do like we just got, or I feel like we just got a revamp of the DeMira Mansion. It was probably like 2 years ago at this point, but I appreciate that they're kind of keeping there is such a thing for longtime viewers to be comfortable with the sets, and it may seem kind of silly, but like it these, when you're watching the show, the sets play a big part, and that's an iconic set. It's been a part of the set since the show started. I would not have been on the side, like I would have accepted if they had, but I'm glad that they did not do like a complete remodel like they did the DeMira Mansion. I'm glad that they're kind of keeping it. It's the Horton house, and it still looks like the Horton house.
Right.
I wish they had done something though. I mean,
Same.
I also feel like the Horton house has not always looked like that though, too. Even I feel like it's looked like that for a long time now, but that's not how it looked in 1960 something either. So I feel like you can change things and make them a little bit more modern without still keeping the feeling, I think.
Well, and we haven't seen I don't think we've seen we've just saw like the bare walls and let's see how they decorate. And there was someone mentioned the windows looked a little different, which I noticed. Couldn't tell you why they look different. They just look different.
Yeah. It seemed like the paint seemed similar, and I was like, oh, okay, you could have tried something good. Like we could have painted it maybe different. I felt like would have like helped with giving it a little bit of a different feel, but.
Somebody in the chat said the only reason why they burned the Horton house down was so that Thomas can steal the red car.
You might be right about that.
That's a lot to go through for that.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that the one thing that just made that scene so special was seeing Bill in Tom's chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just, I mean,
So happy to be there too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could just, if we could just freeze that forever, but that's not how life works. You know, him in Tom's chair, you know, Tom and Alice on the mantle. You know.
I also thought this. Can you imagine a role that allows your memory to still be portrayed while the show is still on?
Yeah.
Like the fact that we consistently continue to see Francis Reed and
McDonald Perry.
Yes. And
Joe Muscolo.
And Joe Muscolo and John Aniston.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that. That's amazing. Like when she put the photo up, it's like you like.
And Julie particularly is always referencing them. Always.
Oh yeah.
Them. I mean, honestly, she talks about them more than she does Addie, but yeah.
Addie was her daughter.
Like,
wait, was Addie her daughter?
No,
sister.
Sister.
No, Addie's the mother.
No, Addie is Hope's mother.
Yeah, Julie's mother too. They're sisters.
See, I still can't keep that whole situation straight. That was like we were talking about incestuous storylines last week. That one's the most confusing.
Yeah, Tom and Alice are Julie's grandparents, not her parents. Addie.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Well, also people were saying that I saw messages about Roman and Johnny's relationship, because I think Johnny
that was a flaw.
Oh yeah, that was just
he said Uncle Roman instead of Grandpa Roman. When he was talking about shit.
And that was probably just a
that's what
we ain't got time.
We ain't got time to redo this.
Moving on.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
We are moving on.
It was funny because it happened right after he was talking about Sammy, so it seemed a more glaring than it would have if he had.
Yeah.
Well, back to the houses. So we're back in the Horton house. Alex is planning on moving into the Kyriakis mansion.
Wants to bring Teresa with him,
but also have a little Kristen on the side.
Cancel on Kristen last minute.
I feel like. Does anyone else feel like this is the Alex that we were kind of introduced to at the beginning?
I feel like
we kind of mentioned that last week where they were resetting him to like the Playboy spray painter, so to speak. That
spray painter
used to be. Yeah.
I literally am disgusted just
spraying
thinking
all
about
around.
Thinking about what?
Just the way that he talked this week. It was just like I can't tell you. Nothing is more of a turnoff. Nothing about Alex was a turn on this week.
When he and Maggie were having that conversation in the office, and she said, from the horse's ass, and he was like, what? And he was like, from the horse's mouth. I'm gonna go now. But I was like, you go, Maggie. I'm still not on board with them being at odds with each other. And it was made clear this week that Alex is not in on the plan to trap Constantine, which I initially was like, I was hoping that was the case. It was made clear that it was not. And then, he's just like, again, he just feels the need to like piss on everything. And
when it comes to her.
Like, when it comes to her, and when it comes to like, he keeps calling Victor his father now. And it's like, did you even know Victor? Not really. And it's just that hubris.
Birthright.
Just that his birthright. It's just like his hubris is just like it's too much. And he'll eventually get what's coming to him.
Ooh, when that shoe drops.
Sooner. I now need it to be sooner.
I'm with him with the Constantine stuff though. He doesn't know what's going on. Like he obviously suspects he's a con artist, and he's 100% right. So I don't know. I feel like Maggie's in the wrong here. She should rope him in on the plan. Nah. It's his money. It's part of his money. He's the CEO.
It's part of her money too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he's the CEO of Titan. Like rope him in on it. What is the? Well, no, it's not code. They're not co-CEOs. He's a CEO. She works there. He doesn't lose anything.
I think it's making sure that it's keeping the circle very small. You don't need to know.
Yeah,
no, I think he does. If he's
it would help the situation if
that's what I'm saying.
If she roped
with that attitude.
He'll be a part of the plan. It won't give resistance to Constantine.
And that would be a great idea if he had a completely different personality.
I mean, I can understand. I guess I can understand why, because he would probably if there was a heated moment between him and Constantine, he would totally be like, "Well, Maggie's gonna get your ass" or something. He would blow it.
Stupid.
I don't know. But the weird thing is, he's 100% right. Like, I mean, like you're sort of gaslighting him by doing all this too. Like, he is 100% right. Constantine is a con artist, and quite honestly, he knew before Maggie. Maggie is taking this oh, we're gonna get him. Where two episodes ago, you just found out he was conning you.
But Maggie in general is a nice person, and Alex is right now behaving like a piece of shit. So I really don't care.
He's a hoe.
Did you say the S word?
This is how disgusted I am with this guy. This is how unbelievably turned off I am.
I've gone from being a Tony to a Paul.
And I will give credit to Robert Scott Wilson, because this does show range. Why? Because I love Ben Weston. I would like to throw Alex Karyakis over a cliff.
What if he's setting her up? I'm sorry. Part of me is I don't know for sure, but part of me is getting a little bit of he might be setting her up.
Who?
Teresa. He's onto her.
Alex is setting Teresa up?
I don't know for sure, but I'm just saying that could be an interesting angle. It does look like a little bit of an about face for him to completely revert back to being this playboy, and now he's gonna.
But this is what money does to you.
Stupid.
All the purchases are stupid. It just don't why do you need a horse?
Well, I mean, whatever. That I don't care about. Maybe, I mean, if he has the money, whatever. It's a drop in the bucket compared to what? It's all relative, right? No one needs a 20-room mansion either, but they have one, so.
There's generational wealth.
It's opulence.
You own everything.
Opulence.
Anyway, let's just move on to more Clyde BS.
I still cannot believe that they are trying to make Clyde Weston another Stefano, a villain with so much power, and he's from Bumblescum, USA. I can't. I can't. Ava and Steve were talking about, if he comes back in a body bag, and I was like, you know what? Same.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. Do what you got to do.
Clyde is somewhere singing "Born in the USA" while having a beer.
I just like that it's been 8 weeks since they were supposed to find the book, and Clyde is very patiently waiting for them to find the book, then to photocopy it or send him pictures of the pages, and they're stalling him for 6 days at a time. I don't know.
But it's also written in code, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think their assignment is, if I'm not mistaken,
Pig Latin.
To find
Ain't that hard to figure out.
But send him the pictures and then destroy it, right? That was Ava's his instruction.
I've lost all. Tell me when there's tell me when there's an outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is.
I think with this storyline, we've all reached the point of have him come get the book and throw him in jail so Gabby can come out and we can just move on from this.
And how do we feel about them now rewriting Abigail's murder? That it wasn't that the explanation that was given that he was looking for Belle and found, the original explanation was he was looking for Belle, killed Abigail, and that's why Abigail met the fate that she did. And now they're kind of rewriting it that no, Abigail was writing a story about Clyde, and Clyde killed her to kill the story.
Such a
and
180.
it's like, and I'm like, why are we?
Yeah,
I'm at this point. I'm just like, why are we revisiting this? And maybe it'll be explained in a minute or two. But right now, I'm like, it's like, well, maybe because and with Chad, and I don't know how Billy feels about it, but with Chad, I'm just like, okay, they had him move on so quickly. That went to shit, and now he's being roped into basically having to re-mourn Abigail's death. I'm
hoping that this is just that they're making this into a bigger deal than it is, and it's really just a coincidence, or like a misstep that they're making it out to be that, but really it actually was Clyde trying to go after Belle and Abby in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a misdirection, and I hope it's just because they wanted to up Chad's presence in regards to, Mother's Day just happened. He's thinking about Abby. They're moving back to the Horton house. He asked. Yeah, he asked EJ to let him into the room so that he could have some kind of a closure. And I'm okay if it's that. Oh. If it's kind of like a misdirection thing, because then it just really is just to show that 2 years down the road, the grieving process is what it is.
Well, here's the other thing too, is that, remember, in soaps, they don't really know where the story is going. So I think now with this revisit, it's kind of like we could maybe play with this kind of a moment, because also I think the other way to justify Clyde saying that he was going after Belle first was not to implicate him. Because if he gave a reason as to why he killed Abigail, it would have been known that she was onto him. Even though we never saw the story, you never knew.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we're done with that BS. Was there anything else?
Just that Kate's kind of going after Ava and Harris now to help Lucas. And we kind of, this is what I was talking about. We got a glimpse of the real Kate this week, which I was very happy about. Like, she's not, back in corporate mode or anything, but she basically gave a underhanded threat to Ava and was like, you don't want to know what I'm capable of. Now, whether they'll continue with this or, take it back and make her pub Kate again, I don't know, but we got glimpses. Kate got mean. Yeah, I was like, okay, this is the Kate that I like.
And apparently Steve is just going to let Ava do whatever she wants.
Yeah, exactly. If
he'll help,
comes back in the body bag.
Quite honestly.
Say what?
I think he'll help, quite honestly.
Yeah.
If he came to him, yeah.
Just leave Ava, let the women handle it. Okay, I'm sorry. Steve, John, let Ava do what she's going to do with Clyde. She'll probably get better results. Let Marlena handle the Maggie Constantine situation. Just leave it alone and let the ladies handle it.
Remember, this if they let Ava handle it the first time without trying to double cross her, maybe it would have been solved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and congratulations, Ava. You got a job.
Also, why didn't she move back into the apartment? Why would she? I don't know. It's like very clunky now that she's living there. So now Trip and Wendy's apartment is just vacant and she doesn't want to live there.
She's collecting dust.
Yeah, like you want to live over the pub in one room. Okay.
With her man.
There's a dog that doesn't agree with that either.
Opposite.
That's my roommate's dog.
Oh.
Going crazy over the neighbors living their life.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, that was a long discussion about this week's episodes of Days of Our Lives, and we still got more show to go. So now we're going to move on to our favorite part of the show, which are our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! All right. So listen, sometimes you're just born ready. And this person who appeared on Days this week was born ready. So my 3 snap goes to Little Oliver. Little Oliver said, listen, I'm about to serve face, I'm about to serve baby, and I'm about to, even in this dramatic moment, be as cute as a button. He did what he needed to do, and then he started crying. And that's how you know you're meant for the screen. So, my 3 Snaps Award goes to Jude, played by Oliver. You get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
And now it's time for
Caption that.
All right, this week's Caption That Photo comes courtesy of Ava, Roman, and Kate in the background being like, this bitch. So, this week's caption, we have 2. This week's caption goes to Al Gregory2 on Instagram with their caption, so it's a deal. I'll stop calling you Chris if you stop calling me Taylor.
That's a good one. That's one of the best ones.
And Miss Tamara Braun threw her hat in the ring with her caption, I think we look like twins in this image. That's why he forgave Ava. Thank you, Tamara Braun. We always love it when you guys contribute and participate. So, and thank you, Al Gregory 2, for your caption.
Nice.
And that was
Caption that.
And now it's time for
Those were the days.
All right, taking everyone back to May 23rd, 2012. This is when Austin, here played by Patrick Muldoon, found out that Carrie was pregnant. This pregnancy, of course, is Noah Reed. But yeah, there was a little, not confusion, but there was a little bit confusion of who Carrie was either pregnant by or who she was going to be with at this point, because Rafe was in the picture. I think she had also slept with Rafe. But of course, it was Austin's baby. And then this is sort of what shuffled them off screen to sort of go live happily ever after with Noah, who is a teenager now, according if we're going in real time. So yeah, May 23rd, 2012, when Austin found out that Carrie was pregnant with Noah.
and
Those were the days.
and now it's time for
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to Kate
Tony's outta here.
Roberts. Being Kate Roberts. Does anyone do the side eye better?
Lauren Koslow is just like timeless with this
I know,
character. Like
miss
just
her.
is flawless.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, no notes. Just love it.
That's how
I know.
sometimes I feel about life.
I know my job.
And that
She
was
knew the assignment.
Yes.
Oops.
It's a gift.
I feel like I gave that Kate gift earlier. I'm pretty sure Dylan will make that into a gift. And now it's time for
News and gossip.
Yes, we have some awards news to talk about. First, we have decided on a date for the Dishin Days Awards. They are going to be live Wednesday, June 5th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in to see which of your favorites won, who is best new character, who is best couple, best guest star, all of those amazing.
the shocking moment,
Shocking moment that you
most
all
giftable.
endlessly. Yeah, so tune in there and see who the winners are and what guests we have that during the award show. So yeah, Wednesday, June 5th. Next up, we also have some Emmy news. We have some big congratulations. The Emmys the past few years have they like to honor people in the industry who've contributed to daytime, and they categorize them as sort of gold honorees and silver honorees. And this year, 2 of those are from our Days family. We have A. Martinez, of course, Eduardo Fernandez, and Suzanne Rogers, Maggie Kyriakis. And they are gold honorees this year just for their contributions, decades-long contributions to daytime. So big congrats to them. They usually do, Emmys usually do like a little sort of few minute tribute to the honorees. So stay tuned for that while you're watching the Emmys. Also, in addition to our gold honoree, we have a silver honoree from Days. We have Janet Spellman Drucker, who has been a producer for a while and is now the co-executive producer of the show currently. So she is being honored for her work in daytime, especially most of that, I think, a lot on Days. So yeah, big congratulations to Janet A. Martinez and Suzanne. Yeah, and just a reminder, daytime Emmys, June 7th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and will air on CBS.
2 weeks. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm not nervous at all. In exciting news, we have a wedding update. Ari Zucker and Sean Christian have set a wedding date, and they have officially picked a location for their upcoming wedding as well. You know that our very own Nicole and Daniel Jonas are actually a real life couple, and they got engaged back in June of 2021. Yes, it does take this long to plan a wedding, and yes, it always revolves around finding the damn perfect venue, but they found it, and these pictures are adorable. They just congratulations all around.
Yay!
Yeah. Next up, we have a little bit of an update of an event that we've been telling you about for a few weeks. This is Teo's book signing for his book, How to Seduce Celebrities, One Meal at a Time. That took place last week, Wednesday night, here in LA at the Grove. If you've seen our social media, you've seen we posted about it. And yeah, if you guys, Tony and Michael, if you guys want to chime in on the event that night, what kind of, yeah. And where Mr. Tony Moore gave the introduction to Teo before he came on. So.
Yeah.
Well, funny
After
story.
hearing Teo,
Oh, go ahead.
I was like, after hearing Teo speak, I know two things will never be true. I will probably never eat at his house because I'm the person that he hates that's going to be like, well, I don't eat that. I don't eat that. And so I'm like, maybe I'll sit it out. And then I will never have him over to my house because I would be the kind of person that takes a chicken out of a refrigerator and pops it in the microwave because that's my level of cooking. But I appreciate his standards and I appreciate his stories because he had plenty of them. And yeah, it was a cute event and a lot of Days people turned out for it. So
yeah, it was a great event, and I think that he was very grateful for people turning out. He is an amazing storyteller. So just finding out how he curated these meals, but also this, it's like an event, to have him over to the house and like cook for people, and like, the conversations that ensue and how everything is meticulously planned out. So it was a great event filled with not only fans, but also and cast members of Days, but, friends as well, who obviously adore him as much as like we all do. And Susan Seaforth Hayes gave a great like button to the end of the Q&A. So if you have not gotten the book yet, make sure you do. I believe it's available at Barnes and Nobles, but it's also available, I believe, on Amazon. A familiar face that many of you may know, Jen Lilly, is featured in the book as well, who formerly played Teresa. And because we're so nice and kind, we'll be giving away a signed book, Seducing Celebrities, One Meal at a Time by Teo Pinglis. So pay attention to our social medias as to how you could win said book. And thank you to Justin, who purchased the book so that we can get the
And I just want to say one thing while we're still on this. It was a really fun, a great night. And I think one of the reasons why we continue to tell you about these events, whether it's like a fan event or if it's something a little bit more tailored like this is such a great opportunity for people who want to get sort of up close and personal or have this sort of an exchange, whether that's telling your favorite celeb how much you like them, getting to meet them in person, having a moment with them. And what I want to say about this is what I loved about this and what I want people to know is this wasn't a fan event. It was a Teo's book signing, and these were the people who came. But it was also everyone you see here was very unguarded that night, and there was no like celebrity treatment. There was no, the stars are going to sit over here in reserve section, and no one can talk to them or have an interaction with them. Everyone there was so open. Everyone from Susan to Leanne to Julie to, there were other stars there from other soaps who had interacted with who have friendships with Teo. Eli was there. Everyone was friendly. John Capillos, who plays Constantine, was there. They spent the night being open and receiving questions from fans. Susan came in and she found her seat and sat down and began. She was sitting in front of us, had an amazing interaction with the fan. Fans were coming up to her, giving her well wishes, telling her they
respectfully they were
ill. Yes. Yeah. So what I want to say is sometimes these opportunities are opportunities just to kind of be in the room and
mix and mingle,
and mingle and have an interaction. And a lot of times, like I said, these things aren't as sort of curated as you would think they are. So it really is an opportunity to kind of be in the space and hang out and have a moment with someone. And I think we definitely did that last week. So it was a really nice time.
Also, I want Teo and Susan Seaforth Hayes to do like a podcast, just maybe a one episode podcast detailing their history of like specific events and just how they got to how they started, what happened, and how they got to the place they were. I was enthralled by the little bit that we heard. And it's just an interesting story because they're very close and respectful to each other, and
and if
you know what, that would actually be, if there was a podcast called Those Were the Days, and you had like cast members come in and just discuss working together, what it was like, whether it was good, bad, ugly, and just like almost like a drama in itself that always comes out with like a good ending, or maybe not. I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Peacock, do you feel like throwing some work our way? Paid work.
But meanwhile, in a different part of LA, someone would have to get out of their pajamas and not eat mashed potatoes and meatloaf in order to partake.
That could be either Araceli or myself, but like which
in
one
my
are you talking
defense, if I make it from scratch, I've earned it.
And
I
also,
was about to drive past the Grove and drive past East LA for some of that meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Not even kidding.
But also,
and then she had wine too.
Color him happy.
Wine.
As long as it's Prosecco.
Please, I've got the good whiskey. Jeez.
Oh, we know what you got. What else is in news and gossip?
Anyways, also in news and gossip, if you missed it, we mentioned it last week that Deidre Hall's episode of Hacks has officially aired. It aired last Thursday, where she was playing a fictional version of herself opposite Christopher Lloyd. And yes, she was wearing the Brady Pub apron and looking so cute in her kitchen. And I don't know if Deidre cooks, but it looked real. The kitchen scene looked real. And her fake house looked very nice. So please go and check that out on, is it Max?
We have a clip. We're going to show a clip.
Yay.
Hey, Mom.
Oh.
Hi. Merry Christmas.
Finally, there you are.
Hi. Sorry we're late. Mom, this is Larry. Larry, this is my mother, Deidre, and Larry's brought lamb.
Oh, hi, Larry.
What?
You know, the only thing I like more than lamb is a man who knows how to cook it.
Oh, well, try it before you propose.
Oh, and you're funny. I like funny, and I'm a hugger. Come on, bring it in.
Okay, new dad alert.
Kayla.
They have chemistry.
Cool it.
So good. It was actually nice to see Deidre, even though she's like playing a heightened version of herself. It was nice to see her doing something else. So
like outside of Marlena,
yeah. So tune into Hacks every Thursday on Max.
Such a good season, by the way. You will not be it's a great show overall. Like start from season 1 if you haven't watched it. But this season, for some reason, this season in particular, like I've lost my breath laughing. So funny.
Yes. Last but not least, we have a few reminders for some upcoming events. First one we want to start is the Hot Men of Days Nashville event. That one is happening September 28th to 29th. It's Eric Martzoff, Paul Telfer, Carson Boatman, Brandon Beamer, and Rob Wilson. All tickets and information, you go to starimageentertainment.com. Next up, the Day Players Band. They still are on their worldwide whirlwind tour. They've added some new dates in New York, North Carolina, and also Philadelphia. And they've also, as we've told you before, been, in addition to their concerts, they've been doing these private, intimate dinners to get to know their fans a little bit better. So go take advantage of that. All tickets and information at thedayplayersband.com. And Samantha and Friends, they are having another event. This one is the Golden Age of Hollywood. This is the weekend of September 14th to 15th. You'll see some days start Dan Girl, Carson Boatman, Eric Martzoff, Matt Ashford, among many others. So yeah, if you're interested, and all of those take place in is it Orlando, Florida, or outside of, or Clearwater? I can't remember. It takes place in Florida, either Orlando or Clearwater. But yeah, tickets and information, you go to samanthasfriends.org. And last but not least, we have Eric Martzoff Rocks Montreal with special guest Carson Boatman. This one is June 1st this year, 2024, in Montreal, Canada.
Oh, that's next week.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, it is. All tickets and information, you go to Eventbrite/Star Image Entertainment. And we have a few shout outs. The first one is we have a Days of Our Lives is moving to a new channel in Australia. You can currently watch it there, but it is making a move. So this is a little complicated. The channel that it's currently on has a contract which will run through, I believe, until the beginning of next year. But the new contract of the new channel that they're going to be on will pick up January 3rd, I believe. So newer episodes will air with the January 3rd on the new channel, and older episodes will continue to run. I'm not sure what that schedule is.
Did you say January 3rd?
Oh, sorry. No.
June.
But
June
3rd for the new one. The old one that's going on until next year will air older episodes. So you have, in a weird way, you have an opportunity to watch newer episodes and older episodes of Days. Someone, maybe Dylan can give us a little bit more insight into that. But
yeah, Dylan, explain this to us.
Yeah,
Australia. If you need to catch up, just tune in to Dishin Days.
Yeah,
Sunday
exactly.
at 3 p.m.
Yes.
Exactly. So Days, either way, Days is making some headway there and picking up a little bit more traction, which is always good. And last but not least, we just want to give a happy anniversary to Mary Beth Evans. She just celebrated, 38 years on the show. So yeah, big congrats to her. And even Nichols, of course, as he does, gave her sort of a really beautiful tribute, which is just like him /Steve/Pat. So yeah, happy anniversary, Mary Beth.
Yay. And she was so nice. We wish her a happy anniversary too. And she said, thank you. Hi, Mary Beth Evans.
She said, thank you.
Thank you. I just realized the flyer that we had up for Montreal is an old one because now they have some new. I think they have like different people.
Oh, yeah. Really? Ooh.
So it's going to be Kyle Lauder, Peter Porte,
wow.
Dan Furigal, and Brian DeTillo, and Carson Boatman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
so no Remington and no Gilles.
Oh, that's okay. Got it.
Yeah. You know, things happen. Things switch.
Remington's got a kid.
He do.
You got a young kid.
They do. They got cheering. I'm Team 11 cheering. Well, and that has been.
It's like, what is he saying? Oh.
News and gossip.
And you guys, let us know if you go and check out an event. Like we said earlier, we want to let you know where you can meet Stars of Days. They unfortunately can't always come to your city, but I'm sure if you're within driving distance or a flight, that's where they'll be.
But how?
I knew that was coming.
But how?
It's this newfangled contraption called an automobile.
Yeah, it's 10 miles away. You can
if you want to go. Damn, even if you don't have a car, like
I love that. Like I mean, this has been happening for decades. Like there will be an event. Let's say you live in Atlanta, Georgia, and there's an event in Charlotte, and someone will go, "Come to Atlanta." You go to Charlotte. It's a 3-hour drive. It's fine. It's like, well, how will I get there? You choose your mode of transportation. But it does cost money. It does. We do recognize that, but we definitely try to say things in advance so that way you can plan accordingly. And if you
at least with Day of Days, when it takes place in October, November, that's generally a cheaper time to travel. So they're pretty thoughtful in that respect. That it's like not summer or not holiday time. That's when my mom would always come to visit me here, like October, November, because the flights were always cheaper.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is probably going to go down in history as the longest Dishin Days we've done. But before we go, let's find out what's coming up this week on Days of Our Lives.
Hello, stranger.
You never know who they'll bump into.
You.
Or who's hooking up.
I thought that was over, Alex.
But one thing's for sure, when it comes to drama.
This is my baby.
You saying you know nothing about this baby switch?
Did you say baby switch?
Days of Our Lives
Hello, Nicole.
packs a wallop.
I missed 6 months of my son's life because of your lies.
I just want to say that I was tracking where Nicole would be when she found out. At one point, we were at a slap.
Yeah.
And then I said, we're at a full-on punch now. And what happened?
Punch.
I love that
Melinda from Bobby Stein.
Melinda Trask went to the Megan DeMira school of reactions. Baby switch.
Harris?
Oh my God, Harris Michaels.
I feel like we all have that moment where like we know stuff.
Yeah.
And we go, what happened? It's very that she's like, did you say baby switch?
I know, right?
Girl.
Well, I never.
Yeah.
I
He's
never
missing
heard
like
of
a
such
Dolly
thing.
G, yeah.
It was the rock back and forth for me. Baby switch. Anywho. Well, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in to our amazing, wacky show. We will be back next week to give you a full dish on what's coming up on this week's episodes of Peacock's Days of Our Lives. But before we head out, Mattis, let us know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
And
at some point, I will change it to X. I'm just not ready yet.
That's fine. I think people still call it Twitter. And you guys make sure you follow Michael, because you never know what red carpet he's going to pop up on, and he's going to post photos. And you want to see those photos. But don't take those photos, because they are not yours. Justin.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
All of the disclaimers.
Name the one social media platform that you have chosen for people to find you.
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Only, exclusively on Instagram. Justin Lee Hareld. Araceli, who has upgraded herself many moons ago to another another social media platform. Let them know where they can find you, or argue with you through social Twitter.
Araceli, who has proved that she is a sucker for peer pressure, can be found on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323Araceli.
Oh, no. There's no peer pressure. You wanted to. And you did.
Did I, though?
So Twitter, get her. I'm just kidding. And you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. And you can find us, Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, X and Threads, and also on our YouTube channel, Dishin Days. Please make sure you go subscribe. And guess what? Tell a friend. And make sure you pay attention to our social media, because we will be posting on how you can win that signed book, Seducing Celebrities 1 Meal at a Time by Teo Pinkless. That's right. We made sure Justin made sure.
We made sure we, yeah.
We?
Yes.
Don't say we right now.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Thank you guys once again for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next week for another full dish of this coming week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Until then, be safe, be well, and hey, Have a great Memorial Day, and shout out to all of our veterans who continue to fight for our freedoms. We remember you and salute you. I'll talk for now.
Bye.